This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
We're spending an eternity in magazine dreams and booking in 5 more nights at Freddy's. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Off Screen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom.
Hello and welcome back to another week of Off Screen. We've got some movies to look through today. So we're going to look at 5 Nights at Freddy's 2. We've got Eternity, we've got Magazine Dreams, but we're going to start, as we always do, with a little troll through the box office top 10 for the UK and Ireland this week. I'll dive straight in first if you want, Van. At number 10, my little boy still hasn't seen this, and he loved Paw Patrol. So it's a Paw Patrol Christmas. 4 weeks it's been out now. Not quite got to 1 million. We're at 900,000.
I was like, is he not growing out Paw Patrol yet? I would have thought, Paw Patrol seems like one of those things kids are into for 1 year. I feel like they maybe get 1 year as Paw Patrol, because it's a very specifically young skewing thing. And it is making money. And I believe, we did have the big budget kind of mainstream Paw Patrol movie, I think, last year, which I did catch a bit of. And I have serious questions, again, about the logistics and the infrastructure of the Paw Patrol universe. I don't know if you and I have ever had this conversation, Adam, but if first responders are allowed to be dogs, how does that work for crime scenes and CSIs? How does someone who sheds fur process evidence? Also, is there a jurisdictional issue? If a human gets murdered, do they have to be investigated by humans, or can dogs? Yeah. Anyway, I have logic questions galore, which is all a nice way of saying I do not know anything about the Paw Patrol Christmas movie. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know a lot, to be honest. And like you correctly said there, if I mentioned Paw Patrol now to my son, he would probably turn his nose up, because it's all about Roblox now in Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, no, it's not Roblox or Minecraft. Do you know what I mean? It's like that owns, those two brands own childhood now.
Yeah, they do. You're right. They absolutely do. Yeah. All right. Well, that's at number 10. At number 9, Predator.
I thought you said President for a second. President Badlands is a movie I'd watch. I'm not going to lie.
I'd watch that as well. Yeah, Predator Badlands. So this has been out 4 weeks. That's sitting on 5.3 million, which is not bad.
I'll be honest, right. I was saying this to you off mic, that they're now sending out the awards package for movies. So each studio sends you a code that you put into their app, and it gives you their award screeners for the year. So you have a vague idea what they're going to try and put forward for best animated feature and best screenplay, etc. So I saw the Disney one today, and I know Disney and Fox run separately in awards season. So I think that's the reason. But I turned on the Disney one this morning because Zootopia 2 is in it, which makes me very excited. I haven't seen Zootopia 2 yet. Spoiler alert for later on this list. But I was there's no Predator Badlands. We're not even doing visual effects on that one. It's not a Disney film. It's a Fox movie, isn't it? So that will explain it. But I really loved Predator Badlands. I thought it was a really good time. It's basically a Klingon episode from Next Generation or Deep Space Nine, but blown up to a movie and set in the Aliens and Predator universes. What's not to love? This thing is badass.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it, actually. You sold it to me when you reviewed it.
You will enjoy.
Number 8, The Fifth Step, NT Live 2025, which I'm guessing you haven't seen.
No, strangely enough, they don't show us the ballets and things. I mean, can you imagine that? They don't show you the National Theatre and the ballet stuff as a critic, which is kind of weird because these things do make money. And also, I'm just throwing it out there, the National Theatre show of Danny Boyle's adaptation of Frankenstein a few years ago with Benedict Cumberbatch and John Lee Miller, that was sick AF. I loved that thing. That was great. Do show critics stuff like that because, I would enjoy watching them. Just putting it out there.
Very presumptuous of them not to let you see it.
How dare you presume to tell me what I would not enjoy reviewing?
Number 7, Nuremberg. That's 3 weeks now, 2.6 million. So it's kind of on track for an all right movie, isn't it?
I still haven't. I mean, it is. I still haven't seen it. And I would imagine, given the subject matter of it, given the caliber of talent that's in it, that this is one of those that's really benefiting from, the grey pound, as Bex used to call it. The pensioners taking advantage of the offers afforded them in the cinemas on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and that it's a film that very much appeals to the older crowd. This used to be cinematic bread and butter. A film like Nuremberg used to be that if you put this movie in cinemas in 1995 with the equivalent caliber cast then, it opened big that weekend, number 1 or number 2 guaranteed, and it was a hit. And that's how the film industry used to work. In this case, it's Russell Crowe as Hermann Goering, and Rami Malek's, the lawyer, the psychologist, who's like, and analysing him for his war crimes trial. Like, this should be the biggest movie in the world, but that just tells you how old-fashioned I am in my head. I still think it's 1995. So...
well, that's at number 7. And number 6, still haven't managed to see this, and I really do want to see what this adaptation is like. The Running Man, 4 weeks that's been out, 4.3 million on that one.
Good fun, really good fun. They've gone back to the original novel and readapted it, like they did with The Roses and War of the Roses recently. They went back and just readapted the novel rather than remake the previous film. And so as a result, you have 2 very different films, rather akin to how you have 2 very different Total Recalls. You know what I mean? Like there's the good Arnie version, and then there's the absolute crap Colin Farrell version that doesn't even go to Mars, begging the question why we're all bothering showing up for this. And then you get to The Running Man, in which in the novel it was set in 2025. Arnie's version, I don't think really pushed the setting of it, but this version is quite clearly in an alternate 2025 with deep fakes and AI and social media and stuff like that. It just, I think, suffers from the fact that I think its director feels sedated through it, and that director being Edgar Wright makes that a problem. Don't let that take away from Glenn Powell absolutely owning the show and being a movie star, though. He is. And I do think, though, there are some faint issues with the ending of this one. I think it's a bit rushed in the ending, a bit muddled. But I did enjoy the film. We had a good time watching this film.
On to number 5, which is another movie that you actually enjoyed watching, Pillion. It's obviously been out a week. We're on £348,000 now.
I love that I live in a world in which Pillion opens at number 5 in the UK box office. And I can only ascertain that means either A, there are a lot of kinksters out there, or B, that Harry Potter branding really does spread far for like Harry Melling, for Dudley of all people in there. I really love this movie. I found this a really charming, captivating, and compelling, not so much gay romance, but gay answer to Secretary, which is very much about sub-dom dynamics. It's about the relationship that blossoms through the cracks in BDSM kind of thing. And I thought that Pillion was actually quite an interesting, very unique version of it. And also, I watched the entire movie. I watched this with my partner. I watched this with Faith. It wasn't until afterwards, like we found out that I found out that Jake Shears from the Scissor Sisters had been in it. And I said to her the next day, "Would you believe that guy from that scene? That was Jake Shears from the Scissor Sisters. Can you believe it?" And do you know her response was? This made me feel so old. "I have no idea what a single member of the Scissor Sisters looks like or who they are. Why are you bothering me with this?"
Yeah.
And I'm sort of thinking, I remember my freshers week at uni shaking my ass to I Don't Feel Like Dancing because it was the number 1 single at the time. But fine, I'm old. Time passes. It's a thing. It'll happen to you. Yeah,
it happens to us all, Van. It happens to us all. Okay, well, that was Pillion number 5. At number 4, while you're looking like that, you must be in a world of your own because it's Westlife at the Royal Albert Hall 25th anniversary concert.
Westlife's still a thing?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, right. Here's an interesting story. I ran a film quiz last night, a Christmas movies film quiz last night. And I asked the question, and you wouldn't believe, right? Okay, only half the people in the room knew the answer to this. I asked, what band does Billy Mack have like a battle in the charts against in Love Actually? Right, now offhand, do you know the answer to that offhand? Just, I'm putting you on the spot. Like, what boy band does, I'm narrowing it down further for you, what boy band does Billy Mack go to war with in Love Actually?
Take that, isn't it?
It's not. I thought it was Westlife. It's actually Blue. He went to war against Blue. Yeah, against
I remember
Duncan
now.
James and Lee Ryan from Blue. Yeah, that's an actual thing. But yeah. Yeah, so that one kind of confounded me, to be really honest. I expected that would be slightly more an obvious kind of question. But yeah, I just didn't know that Westlife was still a thing. Good for them; they're still around. I hope I hope Jodie What's-her-name's being looked after. Keane's wife.
Yeah, well, and I think they're still a big thing because it's their audience that were 14 when they started are now 40 and 50 or 60.
My mum's 62. My mum's been a fan since they came on the scene. Like, my mum had every Westlife album playing on repeat. Like, she's a real basic bee, my mum. Like, her ringtone is an Ed Sheeran song. I'm not even kidding.
Brilliant. Well, they're at number 4 this week, so doing all right. Number 3, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. That's been out for 3 weeks. That's at nearly at 5.5 million.
Which I really enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And it made up for the fact that there was a second one that was so just unmemorable, so forgettable. I literally had no recollection whatsoever of the second one until I looked it up. I was like, oh God, it had Michael Caine and Daniel Radcliffe as the villains. Oh, I do remember now. And I had to be reminded about a movie that featured Michael Caine and Daniel Radcliffe as father and son villains. That shouldn't be a thing. But I liked this third one as a sort of a generational Lego sequel. I thought it worked really well.
I've just seen how much the number 1 this week has made. We'll be on to that in just a second. But at number 2, the movie that you're going to get to see very soon, Zootropolis 2, 1 week out, 5.9 million.
This is the thing, because I'm dealing on American metrics. So obviously my screen and everything comes from the States, so it's branded American. So it's Zootopia. Whereas in Europe we call it Zootropolis. It's kind of a weird thing. Zootopia is the world, Zootropolis is the city. And it's kind of a weird thing where they change the title depending on where in the world you're watching it. I haven't seen the second one yet, but I'm a huge, huge fan of the first one. I absolutely bloody love the first one. And I'm sorry, but the sloth scene in the DMV in the first movie is one of the greatest bits of animated comedy that's been done this century. You must have seen Zootopia Zootropolis, the first one.
Yeah, a while ago. I vaguely remember it.
Right, if it's been that long, that means your son, who's not that old, cannot know it that well. And I refuse to believe that you have not exposed the children in your life to Zootopia. What are you doing, you monster? Put the first one on for them this weekend, you bloody savage.
Well, I got forced to watch the Demon Hunters. That was what I had to sit and endure last week.
Oh, you poor baby. Oh,
yeah,
no.
Exactly.
It's not great, is it?
No. The music's all right.
No.
Some of it's quite catchy, but generally, not my thing.
No, I'm with you. No.
So that's at number 2, Zootropolis 2. At number 1, it was always going to be at number 1, Wicked for Good. It's only been out for 2 weeks. Now, bear in mind, all the others I've just been talking about, they've made 5.3 million, 2.6 million, 4.3 million.
Go on,
and Wicked has made £32.1 million.
Right, so you see, I've told you this a few times, haven't I? When something's a hit, you can really tell it's a hit. At the UK box office, you can tell when something is a hit because the metrics simply do not measure up. It's worth noting, I mean, like, it's made all the money, great. You know, apparently they're going to make more of them. Oh, God help us, because I know there are, I think, 2 other book trilogies. There's 2 entire trilogies of books that continue this on. I think the film is ghastly on so many levels. I tried. I know I don't like the first one, but when the second one's coming, you go into it thinking, right, obviously this isn't for me. I know I'm not going to like this in and of myself, so I have to view this as if I'm a fan of the first one. What would I like about it? Here are the things. I will view it from that standpoint. And even on those metrics, this thing just fell through the floor. And about halfway through, when they decided to shove the entire plot of Wizard of Oz and then retcon it to buggery and make Dorothy Gale a sort of vengeful, idiotic psychopath, and then turn the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Tin Man into these weird guys that have very strange incel-like agendas, like they're internet radicalized. But at the same time, we really want you to dine out on your nostalgia for the 1939 version of it. Please don't pay any attention to the fact that we're retconning that after the fact. Just give us your nostalgic love and go with this. And you're watching it thinking, this is an absolute bloody mess. Entire plot points happen off screen or in shadow, or they're shot from behind with digital body doubles. What are you doing? This thing costs more than the GDP of most small island nations. And you cannot be bothered to actually make a bloody movie. And that's before you get to the fact that it is part 2 of a musical that everyone who's seen the musical will have told you in advance simply does not have a good second half compared to the first. And you marvel at the fact that not one of the songs, to tell a lie, one of the songs, and it's notably the only one they use in the marketing, but with the exception of that one song, none of them are memorable. Not one of them is an earworm or catchy like that. I know the Because I Knew You song because of the marketing. Because I knew the movie does not mean I know the song Because I Knew You. Because it's not that memorable in the movie. I only know it because they bombarded me with it in the marketing. But yeah, it's an absolute bloody mess. I cannot understand how someone who liked the first one would still put up with this, and I would argue that's basically tantamount to saying, look, please give me your gruel. But that's what it is. I'm sorry it is. I've tried. I want to be able to say nice things about Wicked for Good. I really do. But I can't do it. There's an enormous, the entire wall of this room that I'm recording this in, on the other side of the room, is a mirror. So whether I want to or not, I have to look myself in the eyes after I just make stuff up and say nice things about Wicked for Good. And I can't do
that. Well, that's it for the top 10. We've got Magazine Dreams to look at in a moment. We're going to look at Eternity and Five Nights at Freddy's 2 as well on this week's Off Screen. So we'll see what Van thought of this psychological drama, Magazine of Dreams. No, just Magazine Dreams, isn't it? Not of Dreams. Magazine Dreams. Yeah. Yeah, we'll find out next. Stay where you are. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. We are going to dive headfirst into our next movie. So it's called Magazine Dreams. It's a psychological drama and I genuinely know nothing about this one. So sell it to me, Van.
Right, I just want to say, by the way, in the break, I actually did pop to the bathroom, and as I was peeing, I found myself, there was a weird moment where I went, I found myself actually singing Because I Knew You from Wicked for Good, which kind of...
Oh, no.
Actually, although tellingly, it wasn't the exact bit from the marketing, it was the exact bit from the trailer. So that kind of proves my point for me. So Magazine Dreams, this is an interesting one. Okay, so I have to get the real world stuff out the way first. So, are you aware of Jonathan Majors and the controversy around Jonathan Majors in the last couple of years?
No, see, the name I recognise, have no idea what it's linked to.
So Jonathan Majors was, I think he was effectively a cable TV actor. He was on, I think it was Lovecraft County or something like that. Great actor, gave amazing performances and just started working his way up through the ranks. He shot to fame more or less overnight about 3 years ago. So much so that Marvel cast him as their next big villain, as their next Thanos. Effectively, he was Kang the Conqueror. And if you know Marvel Comics, you know this is a sort of a Thanos-level threat. He's a big bad, requires all the Avengers together kind of thing. And he started turning up in the MCU. He played the villain in Creed 3 as well around this time. And then, just as this had been filmed and was about to be released, allegations, I think, of abuse, of physical assault by an ex-partner. I think it was physical assault by an ex-partner. Came to light. He went to trial. That trial was not looking good, and Marvel cut bait with him. And the entire industry followed. He had risen to fame overnight, and if that was overnight, the cancellation was 60 seconds. He was radioactive. He was done. And This film, which we had been told in advance, this is going to be his Rocky. This is going to be his Taxi Driver. This is not comeback. No, because this was before it all happened.
Oh,
Made
right, I
all this
see.
before.
Yes.
They're like, this is going to be the one that puts this guy on the map. Like, this is going to be a big deal. And then, of course, everything came out about him, with the allegations. I don't want to cast any opinion of my own on whether or not it's true, false, whatever. Not my business. However, the film obviously kind of got put on a shelf with all of that going on. It's now 2 years later. The film has been quietly released in awards season, no less, as well. So there's still, I don't think any awards body is brave enough to take it on. But it's now been put out, and so we finally get to review this. We've had a screener link for this for about 18 months.
Wow.
Kidding. Because of all this, we've been able to watch this for 18 months. But there's been no reason because it just wasn't getting a release. So this is about an amateur bodybuilder. It's like a psychological drama. It stars Jonathan Majors as an amateur bodybuilder. And I do mean just an everyday guy with dreams of being like a pro bodybuilder. Gets down the gym, pumps himself full of steroids. He also has mental health conditions, like quite severe mental health conditions. And we are told of a background in which impulse control issues have been a thing, that he has assaulted people, he's lost his temper, and when he loses his temper because of his diminished IQ, his mental health issues, he has lashed out in a way that he doesn't realize is inappropriate and has made threats, things like that people have taken in the worst possible way. And it is about him just trying to get through his life and pursue his dreams, trying to date a woman, trying to get into this bodybuilding contest, trying to take care of his grandfather, but also whilst trying to take on his own demons as well. So I've got a clip for you. This is him meeting with his like court-mandated therapist.
And how are things progressing with the young lady from work?
She's my girlfriend now. She likes me a lot. She laughs at everything I say. She really understands me.
I'm happy that she brings you joy. It is important that you find people that you can make an emotional bond with.
Is this complete fiction? Because it kind of sounds and seems to me like a narrative of a biography.
It is. It has that feel, but also at the same time, it is complete fiction. It is also brilliant. No joke. If things had not gone down the way they did, if the Jonathan Majors legal trouble hadn't happened, and this had been released when it was intended to, with the fanfare it was intended to have, no joke, that man was a shoo-in for Oscar night. Like, I'm not saying he'd have won. He'd have been nominated. He would instantly be nominated, because this really is Taxi Driver or Nightcrawler or American Psycho. It's one of those. Like, these movies don't come along every day. This one has a bit of overlap with Love Lies Bleeding to an extent, but oh my God, I had no idea from 1 minute to the next where the hell this thing was going. I really didn't. I'm being very careful not to tell you too much. I know you wanted a movie to watch tonight, and I heartily recommend that you watch this, and you will absolutely never guess from one 10-minute scene, like from one 10-minute sequence to the next, where in the hell this is going. Now, Jonathan Majors is so committed in this. This is a hardcore performance. It's a bit of a throwback in one sense, in that, that quote from Tropic Thunder that we can't repeat for broadcast reasons, you never go full?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never go full. Jonathan Major's going full. Like, he going full. And he's going full in a way that I can only describe as Ernie Hudson in the original version of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, where he was Solomon the Gardener. Like, that level of he going full. And
wow.
But also at the same time, with the stamina and the physicality of, like, his Creed villain or a Rocky character or something like that. The fights in it, the violence in it is haunting. It's brutal. It's hard. The direction is... This is only, by the way, the second film helmed by writer-director Elijah Bynum. And I think this has got real swagger. Like I'm honestly devastated for the film and everybody involved in making it, that everything with Jonathan Majors happened the way it did, because they made a blinding film here. It's a brilliant movie. It's 2 hours and 3 minutes. And not once did I think of the time in a negative way. I will tell you, actually, at one point, I did, because it was on screen link, I tapped the button to bring the time bar up on the bottom of the screen, right, to see how long was left. For the best possible reason, I thought, this is so bloody good. Please tell me it's not about to finish in 5 minutes' time. And I tapped it up, and it was about 50 minutes into a 2 hour, 3 minute film. I'm like, yes, I can stand for exactly 100% more of this. Yes, please. I absolutely loved it. Haley Bennett's in there in a supporting role as well. She's really kind of the only really name commodity in there. It's just a film that. I don't want to give too much away for spoiler reasons. It's a film that you can spoil very easily. But if you like movies like Taxi Driver, Nightcrawler, I hesitate to say Joker. I don't want to say Joker because it gives Joker a bit of credibility that I don't think it deserves. My God, this is unmissable stuff. It's the single best performance Jonathan Majors ever delivered, ever has, and I'm now going to guess probably ever will. And, like, spare a thought for Kevin Feige at Marvel watching this movie being like, what did we have to do? Oh, God. I really feel like that had to have happened. It's phenomenal. I was so ready to smack talk this. Oh, cancelled boys movie is coming out, is it? Yay. But, it's kind of like good fortune. When it comes out, you have to give it the props it deserves. Like, you separate the art from the artist, as we say. You have to give it the props it deserves, and those props are well earned. So well earned. This is really something. I would tie it with something. I think it's a better movie than Love Lies Bleeding, which it's directly comparable to. Love Lies Bleeding was last year with Katie O'Brien and Kristen Stewart. This great companion piece, but oh wow, it's even better. A phenomenal movie, really well written, really well directed, really superbly acted by Majors. This is... Do you like Taxi Driver? You ever seen Taxi Driver with De Niro?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Have fun with it? What about Nightcrawler or American Psycho? Either of those your bag?
American Psycho, I enjoyed.
Who doesn't love American Psycho? Don't just stare at it. Eat it.
Yeah.
I love Bale in that. So many quotes. Striking your reservations in Dorsia now. I love that movie. If you Taxi Driver and American Psycho, I promise you will enjoy the hell out of this. Do not look anything else up about it. Just stick it on later. And I promise you are in for a ride. Don't worry about the runtime. You are not going to feel it. It just goes places.
Well, if you want to also check it out, you can, because Magazine Dreams is out in cinemas from today. Right, 2 movies left this week. We're going to look at Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in a moment. But next, we'll see what Van thought to Eternity. Stay where you are.
Now it's time for a segment we like to call Off-Screen Pays the Bills. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Van. So, what's going on?
Ain't nothing going on but the rent. You know how it is. And so it's a big thanks to our sponsors this week at the VoiceOver Podcast. You ever watched one of those movies that completely changes your life? I mean, I did. It was Terminator 2. I was 9. You ever watched one of those that made you who you are today? I mean, arguably Clerks for me. I think I was about 11. One of those that completely changed how you see the world. I haven't really got one for that. Maybe the first Iron Man. That gave me a sense of smugness. Anyway, the VoiceOver Podcast is kind of all about that. It's a podcast talking about those movies that move us. So each episode is a deep dive with a different guest, talking about the moments in TV and cinema that have impacted them and taught them about life. It's hosted by Heather Bigley, who might know a thing or two. She has a PhD in film studies, and the movies discussed range from classics to recent releases to obscure indie films. And she and her guests talk about everything from behind-the-scenes trivia to cinematography to their personal experiences. So check out the VoiceOver Podcast. Listen and subscribe today. It's VoiceOver, the movies that move us, and you can find it wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. We're going to dive straight into our next movie. It's called Eternity. So this is a romantic comedy, I think, isn't it?
It is. I told you the concept for this in passing last week, and you were really into it. So this, I wound up actually after I'd already seen it at that point, and then I wound up on Tuesday, I think it was. I was seeing a film that I didn't realize was a reissue in the middle of the day, and it turned out in the same building they were showing this film. And so I said to the publicist, I went, you know, I've already seen this, but I really enjoyed it. Would you mind if I saw it again? Because I've not actually done the review yet. I'll get a second view before the review, if you don't mind. She's like, yeah, absolutely. If you already like it, yeah, come on right in. Like, you already love the movie? Have a seat, son. Very much. So I got to see Eternity a second time. So this is something I would compare. Do you ever see A Matter of Life and Death? When,
No.
You know, on like usually like a BBC Two Sunday afternoon type showing you get for A Matter of Life on Boxing Day with David Niven, where he's the pilot that dies in World War II, and it's all about the afterlife and his trial in the afterlife and things like that. This is kind of a similar thing. That or Defending Your Life. You ever seen Defending Your Life with about 1989, 1990? Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. It's a romance in the afterlife. But it sort of looks like a swanky, futuristic San Francisco with just like nice white buses and all the buildings are like white block plastic and things like that.
No, but I think I'd like it by the sounds of it.
If you've never seen Defending Your Life, I will hook you up. Your life is about to change, son. That is a great movie. Right, so this owes a debt to both of those movies. And it's kind of a direct combination of the two. So it stars Miles Teller, my least favourite actor alive. And bear in mind, I've seen this movie twice. I think he's good in it, which hurts me physically to say. It also stars the Scarlet Witch herself, Elizabeth Olsen, and Callum Turner, who, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what Callum Turner's acted in. I just know him as Dua Lipa's boyfriend and therefore dislike him. But I'm a human being, you know what I mean? It's only natural to dislike Dua Lipa's boyfriend. But actually, he's not bad in this. He's a little wooden, but fine. So, we start in the present day, 2025. Old age couple, like 90 years old, this couple. They're driving to the grandson's gender reveal party. Sorry, the son's gender reveal party or whatever. And at this gender reveal party, Grandad pops a pretzel in his mouth because he habitually guzzles pretzels. And he chokes and he dies. Right? And he wakes up just a second later, looking like he did when he was 30 or 35, Miles Teller, because when you die, you revert to how you looked when you were at your happiest, we are told.
Okay.
Which is great news for me, because I look like the exact night I went and saw No Time to Die at that premiere with the tux and the long hair and the skinniness. Yeah, that'll be my one. It's the Matrix principle. You remember the Matrix? When you go in the void in the Matrix, you look like your idealized self.
Yes.
Same principle. Right, okay. So he's basically a 90-year-old man in the body of Miles Teller, and he's in what seems to be like a train station hotel combo. Well, there's a marketing expo going on all the time. And the idea is when you die, you have 1 week, you get to go around this marketing expo and stay in the hotel. And in the marketing expo, all of the kiosks and all the vendors are pitching you on eternities. Places to spend eternity, right? You get one shot and done where you want to spend eternity. So like I would take Film Eternity or Film World, for instance, where I just got to watch movies all the time. You would take Rockstar World, for instance, where you get to be Noel Gallagher or Liam Gallagher for all of eternity. And there's Mountain World and there's literally a No Men World at one point, which is you've spoken to your last man. They actually say on the tagline. There's literally a world for everything, and we're even told there are worlds that have been cancelled because they were a bit problematic or they got outdated and things like that.
I love this.
Yeah, right. So Miles Teller is told, you can't wait around, otherwise you have to get kind of like a cleaner job and live in the basement. You've got to pick an eternity and move on. The thing is, his wife was terminally ill with cancer, so she knows she's not far behind him. So he sticks around, waits. This is like the first 15 minutes of the film, by the way. He sticks around, waits for her to appear, which she does within a week. Like, she literally dies within a week, as does her best friend, coincident enough, who was also terminally ill. It was quite a fun community, as I'm sure you can imagine. And He turns up at the subway, at the train arrival platform to meet. Hey, guess what? You're dead. We get to spend eternity together. Where do you want to go? Only for another man to then appear, who happens to be her first husband from the Korean War, who died in the Korean War, and she met him after. And he's been hanging around for 60-odd years, waiting for the great love of his life to appear. And she's now reappeared, as has the second husband. So who does wifey get to spend eternity with? That's the question. She has to decide between these two men. The man that she has spent 6 decades married to, who she's had children with in her life, or the dreamboat, romanticized, fleeting, stopped before its time, first romance. You know, that one that we all have. Exactly. So here's a clip for you. This is, I should mention, they all have like PR people, like, what do you call them? They have them on like package holidays, holiday coordinator.
Oh, like representatives, reps.
Holiday reps, yeah. So they have like holiday reps called ACs, Afterlife Coordinators. This is Miles Teller talking to his, played by Holdover's award winner, Divine Joy Randolph.
He looks like Montgomery Cliff. Woo! Oh my gosh, I was saying this just the other day. Montgomery Cliff. He is so handsome. Luke is so handsome.
You're not helping.
I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Luke is hot. His eyes are bluer than the ocean. He has a better narrative.
No, he doesn't. I have a better narrative. I was married to her for 65 years, and I gave her children.
Exactly. We go with that. That's strong. There's nothing more powerful than emotional blackmail.
Right?
Good on you.
I know 100% I would really enjoy this movie.
You absolutely would. You absolutely would, because this absolutely brings the charm and engagement that it needs to sell this concept. And I don't make comparisons to A Matter of Life and Death and Defending Your Life easily, because they are both bangers. I mean, A Matter of Life and Death is regarded as one of the classic kind of British films. It's one of the most iconic British films ever made. And Defending Your Life it's a film bro movie, you know what I mean? So these are both films of pedigree. This fits comfortably alongside them, I think. It's made by A24, formerly the hipster horror label that gave us like It Follows, The Guest, things like that. And this is then venturing into more rom-com territory. The performances are there. There's a lot of comedy wrung out of both Elizabeth Olsen and Miles Teller's characters, because they are OAPs in the bodies of their 30-year-old selves. So there's a lot of comedy to mind out there, whereas Callum Turner, the comedy they kind of go for with him is, he died in the Korean War. So he's a little bit orgy shucks, kind of old-fashioned. At the same time, like, he hasn't really caught up in that regard. So he's a bit old-fashioned in the two of, same kind of thing. But actually, I went along with it. I found it really engaging. It ends kind of where you expect for narrative convention that it would have to. But it does it in a fairly inventive way, I thought. Because I was prepared off the back of the trailer for this to be like, oh, come on, this looks predictable. I think I can guess how that goes. And it gets there, but does it through some quite surprising trapdoors and ways. The way that the afterlife is thought out is actually quite well done. Like this, like saying, no, I'm sorry, I won't stand for any of this. I want to talk to God right now. It's like, well, no, we don't do that. No, it's like, who's your boss then? Oh, it's Tim. No, okay, well, who's Tim's boss? Oh, Steve. Oh, who's Steve's boss? A guy named Dave. It's that level of, there's a very low-key TVA kind of quality to how they've done the afterlife, and it works very well. And Miles Teller actually works in this role as well. And I say, I'm not a Miles Teller fan at all. I intensely dislike Miles Teller. But actually, playing an OAP curmudgeon in the body of a younger man, Miles Teller's kind of perfect for. Like, it's a funny role. It worked. And Elizabeth Olsen does it just playing a sort of generic old lady. Like, oh, good golly, kind of a thing. I really went with it. I was really charmed by it, and I was really won over by it. So much so that I happily, merrily, wanted to see it a second time and did. I thought this was a real winner.
Well, I want to see it now that you've said that. You've sold it to me. I love all that kind of stuff. Eternity is in cinemas for you to watch from today. One movie left. We're going to see what Van thought of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 next. Hello and welcome back for one last ride on this week's Off Screen then, and we're going to dive into the slasher horror.
Hurry, slasher horror. I like that.
Sounds northern, doesn't it? Slasher horror.
Sounds like
Five
a fun
nights.
name for a party, actually. Come to my slasher horror. That sounds, yeah.
Dread to think what goes down at that party. Yes, 5 Nights at Freddy's 2. Full disclosure, I have not seen the first one, so I know nothing.
Well, actually, that puts you in the minority because the whole thing with Five Nights at Freddy's, right, which was released in 2023, it was a year or so after Project Popcorn, where Warner Brothers had released their films day and date on streaming and in cinemas. That was a pandemic thing. They only did it for 1 year. I think that was 2021. 2023, Universal made the strange decision to release Five Nights at Freddy's in cinemas, but also put it on their streaming service, Peacock, on the same day. And you'd think that would mean it made no money. And yet, against all the odds, the thing made huge bank. Like, people could have watched it at home. You know, they could have had their subscription paid for it. If you weren't in the US, you could have torrented the thing. But, people went and saw it, and it made serious bank. I think it made a couple $100 million on like an $80 million budget. It's based on a PlayStation game series. Are you aware of the games at all?
No, I'm not actually.
So I think it was PlayStation 1 it started, and it's carried on since. And there's maybe a half a dozen of these games as prequels, things like that. The idea is, Chuck E. Cheese, the American, where they have the animatronic characters interact with the kids. The idea is it's a pizza restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's, I think it's called. Pizza restaurant with the same kind of Chuck E. Cheese-like setup. But the animatronics come to life and kill people. That's the video game, right? And then you get the movie, which is the same basic concept, but leans really hard into the mythology that the games had to add. So all of this is me saying that I have to explain the first movie before I can get to the second, which is never a good sign for a sequel. You know what I mean? If I have to explain the first one to you. Right, okay, so first movie in 2023, Josh Hutcherson plays a sort of down-on-his-luck McJob type, gets a job as the night security guard at the then abandoned Freddy Fazbear's pizza restaurant. This is it's set in the 2000s, early 2000s. This thing closed down in the 80s after 5 children went missing. Right. Those children were revealed to have been killed by the owner of Freddy Fazbear's, who put their dead bodies inside the animatronics of them, and as such, their souls took possession of the animatronics, and they were out for vengeance, etc., etc. We took down the returned killer, the former owner of the thing at the last one. His daughter was one of the good guys, it was revealed. We now have a sequel. Okay, I feel like that's pretty fair.
Yeah, fair.
In the sequel, the younger sister of Josh Hutcherson's character, who was one of the primary characters of the first movie, had bonded with the animatronics, had bonded with the children, as it were, considered them her friends. She wants to go back and find out what happened to them. She does, and she picks up a broken electronic toy that's branded with the Freddy Fazbear character. It has a little interactive screen that kids have in like a learning computer from the 80s, like a learning toy that we all used to have, where you put in a big magnetic card and what happened on the screen changed. It spelled words for you. And from this device emanates the personality of, I think it's Chica, one of the dead animatronics. Come save us, put us inside a real robot. But what they don't know is that there is a malevolent one of these, a darker, fifth entity that's now back for revenge and has taken a YouTuber's body as its host, I think, and is out to scheme to get the animatronics free of the restaurant, because it turns out, much like a recent Disney sequel, that if you just input the right code, they can exist in the real world indeterminately. And the idea is to get this little girl to input the code for them, to access the information and input the code. Have a listen.
We're never going to be able to move forward until you deal with some of the mess you left in your head.
My father was a monster. You know that.
Everyone called it an accident, but it wasn't until years later when those 5 children went missing that I knew she was murdered by him.
Are you ever going to go back to Freddy's, I mean?
I mean, I've been watching the trailer. Whether the narrative is up to scratch or other bits, what I can say from what I've seen is the special effects look pretty decent on this.
I mean, as an attempt to bring the PlayStation game to life, it's flawless. Like, I have to give it that, because I have a passing familiarity with the game. I never actually played that much of it myself, but I knew of it in passing, and I saw gameplay and stuff just over the years on different platforms, PS1, PS2, etc. Kind of when I was at Blockbuster and things like that. So I know of Five Nights at Freddy's. I know the series. And bringing that to life, yes, this arguably does a pretty good job. I would argue, though, that although it's physically brought it to life, like the creature designs and stuff like that, are brought to life pretty well. Unfortunately, the narrative is not so much. These movies noticeably seem to be dialing down on the actual horror of it. The horror stuff that's in there is genuinely terrifying. The new villain, for instance, is a genuinely horrifying creation. It's that the film itself doesn't want to do too much with that and would rather focus on the very ham-fisted mythology, on the very, like, boring parts of a Final Destination movie kind of level mythology. Like, look, no one cares. Get back to the pizza place and let animatronic animals kill people. That's what we're here for. Get to it. And I don't know if you remember this, but a few months before the first movie, there was a Nicolas Cage movie called Willy's Wonderland that was the same premise, and it was amazing, and it did exactly that. So all the way through this film, which is really just more of the same, you just sat there thinking, God, I wish they'd make a Willy's Wonderland 2. That'd be amazing. Like, Return to Willy's Wonderland. Like, anything but this, which really feels so like Vancouver TV production in 2002 level of filmmaking, with a narrative that is so needlessly overcooked. And then every now and again you get, like, a minute of good scares. I don't even think this is as good as the first one, and I didn't think the first one was particularly very good.
It's a shame, because from the trailer it looks like a decent movie, and it's a shame that they didn't really do what you said and go for the bits that, if you're going to watch Five Nights at Freddy's or Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you want all that stuff, don't you? You want more of it.
When I explain the concept to you, look, it's Chuck E. Cheese's, but the animals murder you. You know, that immediately says, look, this is a horror concept. There should be going into that. And it's a 15. I think it's a PG-13 in the US, but it's, you know, for all intents and purposes, 15. Go for the horror. Nobody's coming into this for your mythology. Nobody cares. I do not need to know what Josh Hutcherson or Elizabeth Lale, aka Beck from You, the worst person who's ever existed, although gorgeous, has to be said. I don't care what either of them think or feel about anything, because this is not that movie. This is a movie about Chuck E. Cheese that murders you. That's a horror movie. It would be
a bit like Top Gun Maverick coming out and actually half the movie being about describing how aeroplanes work.
Do you know? No, it would be that if 95% of Top Gun was that. Right? That's basically how it goes. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't need you solving mysteries and stuff, man. Just go back to the pizza restaurant where the animatronic animal murderers are. Like, what? Why have you built this set? You're not using it. And the villain. Oh my God, they don't even bother with the villain. The villain's played by McKenna Grace from Gifted, and she's the thing that the YouTuber that the malevolent entity possesses. They do nothing with that. And then after all of this, which is so tedious, it's so plotting, they then not only do they set it up for a third one, they do it bloody twice. They give it 2 sequel teasers, both of which, it's worth noting, are better than the actual movie you've just sat and watched. That's not a good thing. I mean, obviously, given how much money the first movie made, I have to imagine this will make a shed load, so I'm sure we'll get that third one. But I'd really rather we didn't.
Well, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, if you do want to go and see it, you can, because it's in cinemas from now. Let's have a quick look at what we've got coming up next week. And I don't think I recognise any of these, so you're going to have to literally explain what they are. Eleanor the Great.
So Eleanor the Great, this is what about an old lady who's oh god, I can't remember the name of the actress, but it's meant to be really fun and I think sort of a comedy as far as I know. Just about this old lady on a mobility scooter, I believe. But the comedy doesn't quite end there because we've also got, and we're going to have to be very careful how we pronounce this. Fackham Hall. Fackham Hall. Okay? If you say it really quickly, you can imagine what it sounds like. And that's deliberate because this is a parody of Downton Abbey.
Brilliant.
This is like a spoof of Downton Abbey called Fackham Hall. Which, say it quickly to yourself and you know what they're doing. We've also got Lurker, which is like a music industry stalker movie, starring, I believe it's the kid from the Gran Turismo movie, I think. Gran Turismo, yeah, it was Gran Turismo. We've got the new remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I saw the other night, funnily enough, to talk about, which is a remake of the classic 70s, 80s slasher. Good fun. We're going to have fun talking about that. And Ella McKay, which is Disney's new female-centric dramedy, I believe, with Jamie Lee Curtis in there, which I'm hearing mixed things on, I'm not going to lie.
Well, we will find out what you think to all of those from next week. That's been it. That's a wrap. That's all we've got time for this week on Off Screen. We will return next week, and until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor. Keep it cinematic, and we shall return.
This podcast is part of the Mercury Network. To find your next favourite show, like mine, 5 Random Questions, visit mercurypodcast.com now.